Welcome to Bed Crime Stories podcast. I'm your host, T. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, bed crimers. As always, I wish you the best. To anyone new here, a warm welcome. Thank you for checking out my channel. Let me just ask that after listening to or watching this video, if you learned something or enjoyed it, please do me a favor and smash that like button. Now, let's dig in. Good morning, bed crimers. Sending you positive vibes for a great day, great evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. Curious news to report today on the case out of Moscow, Idaho, against defendant Bryan Koberger. Koberger is accused of taking the lives of Kaylee Gonsalves, Maddie Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. Let's not forget their names. The Daily News is reporting that prosecutors in Idaho have disclosed that an officer who worked on the Bryan Koberger case has been the subject of a confidential internal affairs investigation. The article says this probe could threaten Koberger's trial. However, let me caution you and me, that may just be the newspaper trying to put a dramatic spin on the situation. So let's not panic just yet. That's my advice, but of course I'm not a lawyer. Some days I kind of wish I was. Here's what we know about the prosecution's disclosure. On Monday, a notice of a potential Brady Giglio material was submitted to the Latah County District Attorney's Office about a separate confidential investigation. That means an investigation about this officer. It does not refer to the Koberger investigation. I'm going to read you the definition of Brady Giglio material per the Daily Mail. But before I do that, let me just say that the term exculpatory evidence means evidence that could prove the defendant is not guilty. So just keep that in mind as I read these definitions. Here goes. Brady material is information that could be exculpatory for the defense. Giglio material is information that could impeach the credibility of a witness, which in this case would be an officer who worked on Koberger's case. End quote. Clearly, Brady material is very different from Giglio material. And because Judge Marshall put a protective order out to keep this information sealed, the media and the public, we're not going to be told whether this involves Brady material or Giglio material. And that's a bummer because obviously those of us who are invested in this case want to know. And I'm sure the victims' families want to know as well. This news is likely to cause them some degree of anxiety. I'm hoping the prosecution was able to at least give them a heads up about this and maybe an explanation behind the scenes so that they're not panicking and thinking, oh my God, the case against this person we believe harmed our child is falling apart. Per the article, at the request of the prosecution, that protective order was granted by Latah County Magistrate Judge Megan Marshall to keep the material, meaning whatever this information is, from being disclosed to the public. The article further stated that the information was personal. So it's personal information about the officer in question. The article goes on to say this, and I quote, "Prosecutors are disclosing the material under the obligation of two Supreme Court cases, Brady versus Maryland and Giglio versus United States," end quote. So basically, the prosecution had to disclose this information. Here's what former federal prosecutor Niama Ramini speculated for Fox News about this situation. The material could be related to Koberger's case, or it could be information about an officer's past that impeaches their credibility as a potential witness at Koberger's trial. Okay, so that could mean that whoever this officer is might be someone the defense could show is not a credible or believable or trustworthy witness. And that could be because of something this person did in the past or in the present. Whatever the issue is, could be anything. It could be the officer having a record of DV, or maybe the officer was pulled over himself for speeding, and perhaps he took out his badge to show the officer who pulled him over and try to get out of the ticket. It could be that the officer smokes weed on the job, maybe in a place where it's illegal. Right now, no one except the judge, the state, the defense, the officer, and probably the head of the department that the officer works for knows what this is about. According to Ramani, the prosecutors, once they discovered this information, likely felt compelled to lay it all out in an effort to avoid any appeal issues down the road. Should they seek the death penalty, or should Koberger be convicted of the crime? Ramani is quoted as saying this: "In the prosecution's case, you're thinking ahead. Okay, I've got a strong case. You know what? I'm just going to disclose everything because I don't want an appellate issue down the road." End quote. I guess we're just going to have to wait and watch. Fingers crossed that if Koberger truly is the perpetrator of this crime, that nothing prevents justice from being served. Until the next time on Bed Crime Stories, guys, let me know in the comments what your preferred video length is. Do you like 10-minute videos, or would you rather have 20-minute videos or longer? What's your sweet spot? I'll see you next time.